Okay, throughout this weekend, I've talked about leaders, and I thought I'd just go over in a program I call Terminal Solutions, not because everybody dies at the end of it, but talk about just how I showed you that long leader formula, how I make it. So I'm going to show you how I make just a traditional very long leader, and then how I make the hybrid leader, show you with the swivels put on there, your indicator, and then show you the droppers. Everybody wants to see all the different dropper ways we can do things. So some of it maybe, I'll try and tie it on the real stuff, but for visibility's sake, I may end up using some backing or something that shows up. So please don't go out there and try and fish with backing at the end of your leader. Well, actually, go ahead. I'll be right over.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, when we're trying to make long leaders for stillwater fishing, it's tough to really find long leaders. And look at this. There's different ones out here. When I'm making a pure long leader, this is what I'm starting with. Okay, so either a 12-foot, 9-foot, or a 15-foot. Typically, I like the 3X because I'm going to be extending this leader, so I want to use a heavier leader. Then I can add tippet to drop the diameter down. And again, the whole reason of this is I'm trying to cast 18, 22, 25 feet a leader and get this thing to roll out somewhat neat. Okay, and it does work. It does work. Now, what's important on leaders, besides the good-looking fish on the front and the logo and all that stuff, is what's on the back. Okay, good leader material will tell you what size leader. So this is a 3X. It tells you the butt section's 23 thou in diameter. So again, what I'm trying to do is make a butt section that is 23 thou or greater on this. Again, because I'm trying to build a taper like a fly rod, thicker at one end, skinnier at the other. So I'm just extending that. So let's take this, we'll start with this 12-footer. We'll make like a 18 or 20-foot leader, and then I can pass it around. And what I'll do for the loops is I'll use one of these braided loops and pretend that's a loop of a fly line. Okay?
Cool.
Cool. Right. So here we go.
So you need the braided loop on.
No, you can nail knot. You can nail knot the butt section if you choose to do. And I used to do that exclusively for years because the braided loops on fly lines weren't all that good. The first generation, they were big, they were bulky. But this is a Rio Grande on here, right? And that loop, get all this clutter out of the way and keep things busy. You can see that's quite narrow.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to go through really nice. It's not an issue anymore. However, I do prefer to tie onto the loop, and this is probably more superstition than anything else. Slack is my enemy when I'm stillwater fishing, and if there's anything there that can slack back up a little bit, I just get paranoid somehow that affects things. It's probably me being more paranoid than anything else. Throw it in the Jack's bag. What could go wrong? So anyway, this represents our fly line. So again, this is just any stiff butt material. Berkeley Trilene, Maxima. Saltwater tippets are good in the fly fishing world because they're stiff and abrasive. Hard mono. Yeah, Masons would be good too. The brand of mono. So what's that? That's 3 feet. Close enough. So all I'm going to do is form a clinch knot. Two things when you're not tying. Except you're getting older. Oh, look at that. That's because when I was filming with Tom Rosenbauer from Orvis, Central Alberta, I'm trying to tie on this hex pattern. He looks at me. You can't see a damn thing. I can't sew. Shut up. Stop bugging me. So he sent me a pair of sunglasses with magnifiers in the lower lens because he thought that was funny. Good glasses. So yeah, if the two things, if you can't see, make it so you can see. Okay, particularly when you get into finer stuff. And also, fly fishers have a false economy. We will spend $700 on a Winston. This bat and kill is probably $100, $150, or an Islander or an Able, and a $75 fly line. And what's the thing we bitch about? I'm not paying that much for fluorocarbon tippet. It's too expensive, right? I'm going to go buy, 8,000 yards of Vanish, which is good mono, but a fluoro. But I find the stuff made for fly tying is thinner diameter. It just, to me, it has a better overall quality. And maybe I'm biased, but that's what I think. And you shouldn't be scrimping on the business end of, trying to catch the fish. Your rod, reel, and line are no damn good if you keep breaking off and losing things every time a fish bites. It soon becomes, again, that false economy. So, tie, the reason I say that is you're going to tie with a fair amount of tippet. Don't try and tie a knot with an inch. And again, try and I'm going to save that $14. So I'm pretty liberal with it. So I'm just, again, this is assuming it's a fly line, so this is going to move a little bit. But I just do a clinch knot. This is very stiff. An improved clinch is a better knot, I'm sure, but this is at the far end of the fly. So if this becomes an issue in holding the fish, I have much bigger problems. So I'm just going to grab it, pull it, a little bit of spit, and away she goes. Okay, so there it is, nail knotted right on to the end. So we have nippers here, and we'll just clip those off. Goodbye. And oftentimes I'll do, sometimes depending on my mood, I'll just clip all my tag ends at once. So I'll go about 3 feet or so, pull this off. And this doesn't have any bread. This is actually an empty spool I had that I just stole. Some friend of mine had some really thick butt. And I said, hey, give me a bunch of that. I'm going to use that for butt material. Because some of the line manufacturers, these are dull in dishwater. So there they go, about 3 feet or so. We'll take our 12-pound leader out of the pack. Okay? If you're going to unravel a leader, this is what I tend to do, is just unravel it until it's all sort of half fed through. And then eventually it sort of all pops. And turn it the other way and just put it on your hand like that and just pull. And typically, it doesn't do that. But anyway, typically, except when you do demonstrations, everything that can does go wrong. All right, there we go. Not so bad. But don't just rip it out of the package because your tippet section always likes to, it's just dying to tangle. Can't wait to get in the game. So again, I'm just going to stretch this out of the package. Everything's got a little memory to it. And we're just going to take that loop on the end and trim that out of the way. Okay? And now we're going to use a blood knot. Okay? Hello. And I like the blood knot in thicker diameter material because it's a less bulky knot. It's more of a lower profile knot, so it'll pass through the guides. The surgeon's knots are more round in nature, and there's a risk they could jam up and cause you some issues. So all we're going to do is I've crisscrossed the material like this in my hand. The way a blood knot works, it's all twisted around and fed through, but this is sort of the way I sort of do it. Is I grab one end of it and go around 1, 2, 3, about 4 times, and then come up, and then grab that joint. Okay, so I've got half the knot formed. And then go around once, twice. Come on.
Phil,
Yes, sir?
excuse me, I thought you said that the surgeon knot is a smaller knot.
No, it's a lower profile knot.
What's more profile?
No, lower profile. Always use the blood knot up here. Wait till I get to the tippet. It's probably what you might be getting a little. So with a blood knot, that comes up. So this one must go down through the same passage. Okay, and a blood knot has a habit, left alone, loves to unravel. So I'm pinching that junction, and I'm just kind of pulling on both ends. Okay, and then with knots, we all get excited. Oh my God, I made it, right? So you pull fast, right? Generates heat, causes problems. It also causes things to unravel sometimes. So if you just pull slowly, your blood knot is done. Okay? And then you know it's right because you got one pointing up, one pointing down. Trim away the edges. So now we've got line, roughly 3 feet or so, onto 12. We're already at 15 feet. Tippet. As I said, I like to get away with the strongest diameter I can. So this is standard stuff for me, is using 7 or 8 pound. And this is just going to arbitrarily pull this off. Actually, through Loon now, you can buy you ever seen those shark teeth tippet things? They have.
Do you ever use the Rio Floraflex Plus?
That is Floraflex Plus.
It is? Oh,
Yep, Floraflex. They change the labels every year.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Yes. Have a lot of faith in it. You know, find a brand you like, and then have some faith in it. You know, and stick with it. I don't like to often mix match. So there's my tippet. Because I'm left-handed, I have to flip it over this way. That's the way I prefer. And again, with the surgeon's knot, I often like to moisten it. A little spit holds everything together. Again, lots to work with. Through once. Through twice is a double. So a triple would be 3 times, yeah. And then to keep the length, you know, you could just pull on this and that would work, but if you're worried about keeping your tippet length, if I hold the knot at the fly end of the fly line side, which is my right hand, and just pull, the knot's going to draw tight so it maintains the length of your tippet.
Oh, cool.
Not that it really matters much over this distance, but again, sometimes when you get, and then just a gentle pull, and then isolate the tippet. And sometimes you can take the tippet and fold it over your forefinger and pull down, and the only thing left to cut is the tag ends. Because all the good stuff's in the palm of your hand. Unless you can cut your fingers off with a pair of nippers, you should be safe. And there you go. That is roughly 18, 19 feet a leader with a taper built into it. So again,
Fish on a 15-foot deep.
sorry?
That would be fish at 15 feet.
This one would, yeah, about 15, 16 feet. And so there, again, just to review, you got fly line. You could use a perfection loop or a non-slip loop knot if you wanted, and just loop-to-loop connection. But I'll also show you another reason why, and learned this from the fly fishing competition, is changing lines in the boat because it's a seated position. Right? So I'll show you that in 2 seconds. That's what your clothes pegs are coming in for. I couldn't find any. So again, that is a clinch knot. If you want to use it improved, you can, but it's just simple. It's not coming undone. If this becomes an issue, I got a great problem. And a Moby Dick on the line. And then that's a barrel or a blood knot, and then your 12-foot leader down to your triple surgeons. Where are you? Right here, and you're done. Okay?